Welcome back to our Detroit Mayoral Candidates Forum. We have three of the front runners with us tonight, and we're so happy that they are here tonight. We're going to ask them some of our viewer questions from Facebook.
We want to remind you, first of all, that that Mike Duggan and Benny Napoleon had prior commitments, and Crystal Crittenden back out just a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah,
so three of our other 6
show.
front runners are here with us here tonight. So, Facebook questions.
Yes, we do have Facebook questions. And Mr. Barrow, we're going to ask you the first one. This is from Kimberly Griffin Barnes. She wants to know, will city government stop ignoring Southwest Detroit? Can we have some abandoned homes demolished, potholes repaired, and street and stop signs repaired?
Thank you very much. Facebook, I like that.
Yeah.
Yes, look, we've actually proposed a plan, what we call our Rebuild Detroit plan, 5 steps to rebuilddetroit.com. You can actually go to that website. We created it. One of the things we propose is our creating of nonprofit housing companies. Now, not just one, but dozens of them, which are designed then to, using grant money, will take certain houses that are still good. If they're still good, some of them are still livable, we're then going to start to fix them up by hiring ex-offenders and paying them a good wage, and let them, some who are plumbers, some who are electricians, some who are roofers, landscapers, we're going to fix up some of these properties in the neighborhoods. And then we're going to sell those properties and buy another. Now, I'm not talking about 1 or 2 of these. I'm talking about dozens and dozens of these nonprofit housing corporations, along with our 4% heroes tax that we proposed, which is a surtax on entertainment, so that we will be able to pay for our police, 500 new police officers. I'm providing a permanent way, which includes covering their fringe benefits and the like. So we've got a number of things that we proposed, and I think if people will give us a chance to be able to do it, don't judge us based upon our current leadership. That's not really Detroit. That's not really Detroit.
Mr. Durhal, same question. Obviously, people, this is the thing we hear over and over. People want to know about the abandoned homes. They want to know about the potholes. The current administration says it's trying, but it's a big battle.
It is. When you're talking in excess of 40,000 housing units in the city of Detroit, and we're gaining them by 2,000 a week. It's very difficult to keep up with that pace. There is currently a $10 million program in Detroit, gotten through HUD and the Michigan State Housing Development Authority in the city of Detroit to try to get as many of those taken down as possible. My administration would work and continue doing that. As former deputy director of the Michigan Land Bank Authority, I think we have an opportunity to, work together with Habitat for Humanity and some of the other groups that are really interested in getting people into houses, and to do it in such a way that we can even swap old houses that are not energy efficient for some new stuff. And I think we can do that. And I've also talked to the people at Quicken Loans about developing a new mortgage product that would be based upon a person's ability to pay that mortgage, and not on the numbers that they draw up in their formulas, so that a person can stay in a house for 40 years, for example. Instead of a 30-year fix, they could have a 40-year fix at a much reduced interest rate.
Ms. Howells, let's hear you touch on this, but also Mayor Bing wanting to downsize the city of Detroit. He's saying so many neighborhoods don't have enough homes, and he wants to downsize Detroit, create some green space.
Well, if we actually get to the heart of the question that was asked, the question was about when is the administration going to show Southwest Detroit some love and attend to the things that they're concerned about. They feel like a neglected community. And so when you talk about downsizing the city of Detroit, people hear that and feel that they're going to be at a disadvantage. And so what we really need to do is learn to optimize our communities. How do we find strong communities and strengthen them even further? In those places where there's only one home that's on a block, those people have to be given a better opportunity to have a better quality of life. It's about their personal safety and being able to deliver quality city services to them. So that would be my concern. And the way we go about doing that, because we know that people who have been in their homes 30, 40, 50 years, raised their children, there's a sentimental attachment to that home. But when you present something that's much better than what their present situation is, giving them equity in whatever that future development is. We know that we have lots of land in the city of Detroit. In order to create development, there's going to need to be contiguous swaths of that land. And so the people who would be asked to perhaps move to another community, what's in it for them? With me, under a housing administration, I would want to make sure that they have an equity stake in whatever that development is, so that there's a win-win. I'm benefiting as this new development also has an opportunity to benefit.
I take an entirely different view, so I won't.
But I want to move on because we want to get to another question. It's kind of in the same vein right here. This is from Marcus Norwood. You can see it right there. Will we ever have street lighting? It's been nearly a decade now. The other night when we talked, you said that there's no problem with the street lights. They're being intentionally turned off.
Of course. Yes, of course. That's all part of the devaluing of Detroit. I listened to the representative statistics. Those statistics aren't bad. We're not losing 2,000 new houses every day. We're not losing 2,000 houses. The streetlights, all this is part of a very grand plan that's being perpetrated. And I think you'll find that many neighborhoods, particularly on long streets, main streets, the streetlights are out. That's all designed so we'll begin to believe that we now have to turn this over to DTE. And I've made that very clear. All this devaluation of Belle Isle, the devaluation of the neighborhoods, all that's part of that.
So the solution is just to hit a switch and then they're back on?
I believe you can turn on many of them for just a few $100,000. Lots of them can come back on. Are people suggesting to me that for some or other the wires are gone, that the light bulbs are all blown out?
Well, there are actually rusted poles that have fallen out of the ground.
Let me get in on this.
There may be some, but you can't point to that and say and project it onto the entire population.
Look, Stephen, I think that the good candidate needs to come and get in the car with me and go for a ride in my district where I can show him where there are many, many lights that are out, day or night, and the fact that the housing stock is deteriorating at such a rapid rate that nobody can keep up with it. You come back in my neighborhood, and I guarantee you this, you will change what you say about those 2,000 houses. If they were there and they're missing now, they're gone. And in many cases, they're gone forever, and so are the people.
Ms. House, speak about the street lights, please, because we get so many calls here in the newsroom. I get calls personally about people getting hit by cars and actually dying in communities because it's dark in certain communities.
Well, given what you just stated, there was an imperative to do something. All of this talk about conspiracy theories and methods to denigrate or devalue the city of Detroit, it's very real. When you drive down Grand River Avenue and you see that the copper units have been taken out of the base of those lighting poles, that is very expensive to replace. So like you said, when people are getting hit by cars, young women, men, elderly are being raped and killed and thrown into vacant lots, that's a problem. All of these crimes are being committed under the cover of darkness. So while I had an opportunity to do something about it in the state legislature, I voted to support the Public Lighting Authority. We have not invested in the lighting infrastructure for more than 20 years. And I asked someone, if you're in a relationship, you have a husband or wife and you don't speak to them for 20 minutes, let alone 2 weeks, talking about 20 years, is that going to work? No. So we have to be proactive. We have to hold those who are going to be a part of implementing the plan accountable and making sure that the residents of the city of Detroit have a part in that plan.
Now, this is not a debate, of course. We're not exactly.
There's a divergence here.
All this happens obviously in the framework of an emergency manager, certainly, and probably a bankruptcy court.
Yes.
So let's go down the line here really quickly. Your administration is going to have to deal with that.
I think he's overreaching, substantially overreaching. When we're in receivership,
stop him?
Well, that's going to take a strong mayor. When we're in receivership, he derives his power from 436. He crossed the bright line and went into bankruptcy. Now bankruptcy laws now come into play. The debtor is clearly in bankruptcy is the city itself. It doesn't provide for a city and its representative. It's the mayor and council, the political subdivision. I think it'll go to 11 U.S.C. Chapter 9. I think it's 1552, and I think you'll see that it defines the debtor as the city. As the mayor, I'll take back control. You know, I believe that I can...
From a federal court if it goes...
Under the federal courts. That's absolutely right, because we would be the debtor, not this individual who's not elected, who's not a representative. And the bankruptcy laws are clear. I know what those laws are because I've been appointed as that trustee.
But you would stay in bankruptcy, but you would be in charge, not emergency.
And then I would correct a lot of things, absolutely.
Mr. Durhal, what do you think about that? The governor's ratings are going up right now because he is calling for bankruptcy in the city of Detroit. But you would work with Kevin Orr and the governor in this?
Let me say that. Look, he is there by statute law. This is not something somebody dreamed up. They passed a law, and that is the law of the land. Until the courts change it, that's what it is. Now, if the bankruptcy court decides that it wants to handle it in a different manner, then yes, federal law will trump state law. But until or unless that day comes, whoever is the mayor on January 1st, and if Kevin is there, they're going to have to deal with him. And so to run around and pretend like you're not going to work with somebody after the law allows the state to be able to come in and be there, I think is ridiculous.
Listen, I have stated from the beginning that I felt that the bankruptcy was premature, that there were a number of things that the state could have done in being a true partner with the city of Detroit that would address our financial concerns.
All that said, we're there now.
Yes.
We are there. And so with that being said, how we go about treating our pensioners is very important. You cannot have disparate treatment between those who are expecting that same pension that they bargained for years ago. There are solutions to that. Let's think outside of the box. What is the true value value within the pension fund. And would pensioners be willing to take a buyout today?
And what do you feel about the state attorney general representing the pensioners in this lawsuit against the bankruptcy?
It's quite interesting. I sometimes see that as good cop, bad cop. The Attorney General has a responsibility to protect the citizens of the city of Detroit, or not citizens of the state of Michigan, I should say. And this is yet another one of those issues where he has an opportunity to do that.
Okay, let's talk about morale in the city of Detroit. We're talking about the pensioners. So many firefighters and so many, really fast. So police officers, their morale is down. Citizens in Detroit, their morale is down. How are you going to get them to the polls to vote for you?
Strong mayor. I think they know I'll be a strong mayor. They know that they'll be able to trust me. They know that I'll back them up. I'll cry when they cry. I'll laugh when they laugh.
Mr. Durhal?
I'll be as fair as I can possibly be with the Detroit Police Department. I've already talked to the DPOA and the police and lieutenants associations, and we all agree on one thing. The job is to make sure that the cops are feeling good about coming to work every day. And as mayor of Detroit, I'm going to make absolutely certain that is true. We're going to get them some more bodies in here. We're going to buy more equipment, and we're going to make sure that it works.
Ms. Howe's last word on that.
100,000 residents of the city of Detroit, their lives are on the line. This is the reason why I put my life on the line, sacrificed my seat in the State House to run for this office. I'm committed to Detroit, and you have my commitment tonight to be your next
we are
mayor.
out of time.
That was great. We thank you all three for coming, and it would have been nice to have all 6 of the frontrunners here, but we got 3. We got to hear.
Thank you very much for having me.
And so good luck on August 6th,
Carolyn. Thank you,
5 days
Stephen.
away.
All right, you can count on 7 Action News for complete coverage of the primaries. You come over your way, obviously, on August 6th.
Yes, indeed. We will bring you results on air and, of course, online at WXYZ.com/vote. We will also have political analysis, candidate interviews, and help where you can go to your polling places in your community. So thank you all for joining us. We'll see you on Action News at 11.